Well, this Money Monday, we take a look at one of the biggest questions surrounding the pandemic. That is the housing market. Joining me now, of course, is our resident financial expert, Kyle Wingfield from Finley Alexander Wealth Management. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, good. I hear that we are in a housing boom. One minute we hear that the market is booming, of course, and houses are getting scooped up as soon as they go on sale. And then the next we hear that housing insecurity is on the rise. So I'm a little confused. How are both possible at the same time?
Well, okay, so here's why both are possible. Number one, who's buying the houses that are getting snapped up immediately? If you think about what their profession is, that they're ready to go. They stop commuting into work and they realize, hey, I'm living in the city, I'm paying a huge bill for rent or whatever, and I could go out here to the suburbs or move further out, finally get a house with a yard and whatever for the kids. And so I can take what I'm paying here, maybe pay less and get so much more house. That's who's snapping up, in general, these houses that they can't even stay on the market fast enough. I mean, they're just like that.
Yeah.
Then you've got the folks who are dealing with housing insecurity right now also. And those folks are the ones who are adversely affected directly because of COVID and the pandemic. And so they're doing what none of us want to do right now and wondering, how are we going to pay our rent? How are we going to pay the mortgage? Are we going to lose our home? It's like two different Americas. It's two different economies. It's two different worlds. And I think, we can say that it's a boom, but nothing is more, affects us when we see there's a boom going on, but in our home, it's a bust.
Yeah.
So I think
that sort of inequality
right.
that we're seeing and inequity that we're seeing. And that
Yes.
is troublesome, because we can sit here and smile because you're on one side of that coin. And if you're on the opposite, it's a completely different story. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the other question on everyone's mind is, can the economy keep up like this or keep going like this? Or are we going to see another crash like we saw in 08 and 09?
Well, I don't predict the future, because boy, if I could, you wouldn't know me, but you would know of me. But I will say this, that as they say, what goes up must come down. Now, that being said, you've got to wonder, with all of this, think about all the supply and demand, with this high demand that's pushing, we have limited supply that's pushing the prices up. At some point, are you buying homes that are artificially inflated in value? I'm not saying that they are, but that's what could happen, right? So it's like a gold rush right now. Everyone's going like this, but then if it cools off, could we go through that? That's potential. That's a possibility. I don't know, but it's something to think about, because we've already been through it, right? We went through it once, 2008.
Yeah. And I think it depends on the type of home too. I mean, just colloquially, I know that I've seen that, condos are selling for way less, and
Yes.
townhouses and single family homes way more. So even the type of home that you are looking to sell or buy, that can change as well, correct?
Oh yeah, that can change. I mean, what we're seeing, why are the townhouses, why are the single family homes in such high demand? Again, people are leaving, let's say, the city. There's this migration because there's no requirement now with employers for everybody to be commuting into work, right? So what we're seeing in America right now, in those households that are fortunate right now, is this work-life balance finally coming online. Because you got some people say, well, no, as soon as things get back to normal, we're going to have people come back. I don't know, because as long as there's been a lot of productivity that's gone way up, people are, for the most part, happier. Now, I mean, maybe you're doing a lot of screen time, but that's okay. That's okay, because I tell you, I'd rather do screen time than sit in 2 hours of traffic one way.
Yes. No,
So,
that's true. But yeah, you're right about the productivity, because a lot of times we're working from home and we just don't shut off. You start that normal day and you're like, oh, let me just do one more thing after dinner, or let me wake up a little bit earlier and do a little work before working out. And then you do take those pauses during the day, but when your work day is 14 hours long, all of a sudden you are becoming a lot more productive, I should say. Of course, we want to keep this conversation going with you. We can do that a couple different ways. We can go to your website, but also Facebook, correct?
Yeah, we can do Facebook. We do Facebook Live after this, and then also going to the website finleyalexander.com and really looking for those opportunities to learn. So if you want to learn different things about money, we're always having virtual events. We have some webinars coming up. We're going to be talking about panelist taxes. Who doesn't want to learn how to do that? We're going to be talking about how do you set yourself up to become work optional, so you can have more of that work-life balance, more like more fun and less work. So how do you do that if you're 5 years out from retirement? How do you know you're going to be okay and do what you want to do when you want to do it? And we're going to have a whole bunch of events coming up here over the next month that's going to be diving into that, so you can sit from the comfort of your home, your favorite digital device, and learn more.
Absolutely. All right, Kyle Wingfield, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it. And we'll be right back with more Midday Maryland right after this. Stay tuned.